Hey, welcome to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. Let's do the second Bobby Fischer chess tournament game, shall we? We are having a ball. I'm just saying, just so you know, those of you, I get new subscribers every week, and so I'm just letting you know, the Backyard Professor fan club, I did not start this as a vanity project. One of the viewers started this, but just so you know, we are having a blast in this club on Lichess. Come to Lichess, L-I-C-H-E-S-S, and join us. We're having fun. We have master-rated strength players in our club, and they're kind of talking with us about tactics and strategy, and it is a hoot. We're learning from each other. We're playing chess against each other. We have a forum that we can talk about virtually any aspect of chess. You need to come and participate with us. We are really having fun. This thing is picking up steam. I was very skeptical of it at first. You know, I was almost embarrassed that, oh, yet a fan club, come on. I'm just an idiot making videos, you know. But no, it's getting fun because we're learning more and more chess. It really is. So thank you to all you guys who've joined and who are participating, and we're all becoming friends. I mean, there's people from the Netherlands and Finland and the UK and England and Australia and America, from all over the world. It's awesome, man. Come and have some fun with us. That's what I'm saying. Chess is important, but it's also fun. And we're having fun while we're approaching chess mastery. In my case, I'll be approaching it for the next 68 years, but you guys will get there before I will. And that's good. That's okay. We're all in this together having fun. In this second game, and again, this is 1955 still, I think there's 7 games in the Carsten Müller collection of Bobby Fischer's chess games. Great picture of Bobby, isn't it? This is the best collection of tournament games. There may be some tournament games that he doesn't have and all, but this is more than enough. 735 games I'm going to go through in the next 2 years in this. It was copyright 2009, and he does some pretty good annotating. He's not real heavy at annotating, but he does pretty good. And I'll bring in other people who have used Fischer and their comments as well. There's about 7 games that he played that we have in this collection in 1955. So Bobby is 12 years old playing this. He's playing the white here. His opponent is Ames. This is the U.S. Junior Championship for 1955. The same. Oh yeah, this is the program gave Bobby a rating of 1830. So, and this is the 2-night defense opening here. So he's pretty substantially good at a few of these openings. He has obviously been studying and playing chess like crazy by the time he was 12, and he's already playing tournaments. I wish I would have done this, but I didn't. I had to wait until my old fart age to wake up and realize, hey, you know, it's really not too late. I can do this too. I'm having fun. If nothing else, I'm having fun getting the rest of you to get doing this with me. So anyway, Bishop C4. I noticed this pattern at least in the early career of Bobby Fischer. And almost every time, Carsten Müller just doesn't like this, apparently. I don't know. But the bishop to c4, it was Bobby really liked this. However, here's the downside. And the reason that Müller said, well, not the best place for the bishop, not the best move in the opening with the 2 knights defense because of what Ames does next. He takes the pawn. So now one of Bobby's central pawns is gone. That's the, if we can call it a defect, that's the result, and it doesn't help Bobby. And now he really does the zinger. Remember, they're 12-year-old kids here, right? The junior championship was under age 13. Bobby goes, check to the king. I mean, right now, he's attacking. He's not putting up with any nonsense. That's kind of fun to see, isn't it? You go, whoa, Bob, whoa, easy, kiddo. No, no easy, kiddo. Watch how this unfolds. This is quite interesting. Knight will take the knight. So, yeah, he lost a central pawn. In the process, he acquires a pretty good control of the center, however. But his opponent is not putting up with any nonsense either. Target, one of our pillars, central control. If not through occupying the center with your pieces and pawns, at least controlling it. Both of them seem to be doing fighting well for that. Target, another one of our pillars. So this looks to be like a pretty good game. Watch what Bobby does. Very cool. Check. And I have emphasized in previous videos, and I will continue to emphasize, because don't kid yourself, Bobby did play the way I'm about to explain. There's no question. But it seems like he's making a lot of moves with the same piece in the opening, right? He is neglecting his development, and if it looks that way, that's because that's what he's doing. He is 12 years old here. I'm just saying, you know, no offense to anyone who's 12 years old, male or female, black or white, whoever you are, all of us get to enjoy this wonderful chess game. But just so you know, this isn't, you know, what the heck. The later Bobby Fischer did not do this, so it's kind of fun to see how he evolved and changed through time too, isn't it? And now Bobby will go d4 again. Not going to give up the center. And h6, yeah. Look, it appears that the black king is just a little bit loose here. That's kind of interesting, huh? A lot of pawn pushes there and all that. Bobby puts it to knight h3, and then bishop g4. Here come the forces. The idea of the pinning the knight to the queen with this bishop move. This is a move that is typical in a lot of chess openings. The principal theme behind this is this knight, and it happens on either side, it wouldn't matter. This knight is influencing those two very important central squares. So by pinning this knight, you are indirectly challenging the central control. That's the why of this kind of a move. Yeah. Now, he could have went ahead and taken the knight and disrupted the pawn structure on the king side that Bobby wants to castle on. That was also an option. He chose instead to do it this way. Either way could have been interesting. Either way is interesting, I should say. And Bobby takes the pawn. Yeah. And the knight takes the pawn. So this battle for the center is raging. Even with the 12-year-olds in the junior championship, they have learned at this wonderful early age the critical importance of control of the center. And they do fight for it. This is inspiring for all the rest of us. Truly one of the reasons why I have made that the first pillar. For me, beginners / intermediates for us, chess is so complex, I've tried to simplify it down to just 3 pillars for now, just to get us to be able to expand in our chess strength so that we can put together all the other hundreds of items. You have to start somewhere. You may as well simplify it and give ourselves a chance to improve. And so I've produced I didn't invent this. Everyone already knows about it. I just call it the 3 pillars. This is one of them, the center. Just to explain for you new subscribers. I get quite a few new subscribers, so I'm just explaining that. Of why I seem to be overemphasizing that, because it wins. That's why. That's all the justification I honestly need, in my opinion. Now Bobby comes up with knight f4, and then c6. The lone pawn it's okay to take a moment and make some quiet moves, some soft moves, if you will. Not necessarily. Every move in your game does not have to be an attack, 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 attack. You don't have to go wild every time. This is why I call it a quiet move. Number one, the pawn is not only occupying the center, but it is helping influence it. It could be a good outpost a little later in the game. So why not take a moment to strengthen it? That's good chess. Make sense? Say yes, please. I heard a no. Yeah, whatever. Stop it, you clown. Okay, so, well, yeah, he put the bishop out there, right? So what are you going to do? Make him make a decision. You don't see, this can lead to so many questionable issues for white. If he wants to get his queen into the game, let's make a decision. Make him speed up his reason for putting that bishop there. Are you going to take the knight? Well, then take it. If you're not going to take the knight, then scram. That makes sense why he made that pawn push. Yeah. He has enough. Well, both the queens are opposing each other, of course. Yeah, that knight is more directly in the center, influencing the center. He has enough with the two knights in the influence of the center and the queen, well, and the bishop somewhat, that it's okay to push the question and say, okay, show me what you're thinking, right? Well, interestingly, at this point, Ames takes the knight with the knight, not the bishop. Knight takes knight check. Really interesting. It was also good for the bishop to take, and then G to take the bishop, and then the queen to come up to F6. That would have been decent for black also. Instead, he chose to take it with the knight. And so G takes the knight, and what he did, black kept his bishop pair by exchanging in that manner rather than with the bishop. He decides he wants the bishop pair, and so then he comes back to F5, and now Bobby brings up his bishop to E3, getting a development going. And now, the question mark, he put the bishop to B4, and the comment of Mueller is the queen coming to F6 with C3, and then C3, and then the bishop to D6. The bishop to D6 with him. The queen to F6 with the bishop on D6 would have been better for black than what he did with the B4 hitting the king. It's an easy bump to stop the check. However, this is not the right move. Now black has done something, oops. What's the reason? Why should he have gone back this way instead of this way? Is because the bishops, he kept the bishop pair. So why are you putting one of the bishops out of play when he needs to be over by the king? So by keeping the bishop pair was a good decision. If you're going to keep the bishop pair, make them useful, make them more powerful. Keeping this bishop on this side does not accomplish that. So the bishop pair, in some sense, is he's not utilizing it correctly. And that's why Mueller gave him the question mark. He said, no, 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 you go that way. You got to be over here, not over here. There is literally nothing going on the queen side. All of the action is over on the king side. The center isn't locked. There still could be fighting in the center. You could get some counterplay in the center, but leaving the bishop over here is like leaving him stranded, more or less. That wasn't, yeah. No, that wasn't good. So, rook to g1. He grabs the file. Bobby Fischer at age 12. Yes! One of our chess pillars. One of my favorites. And incidentally, I've only played a couple games. I will get more active online with chess on Lichess. And I will get playing more of the club members in the BYP fan club on Lichess. But what I have played, the 2 games of rapid chess where you have 10 minutes each side, I really like that kind of chess. I really like the correspondence chess also. But in the rapid chess, the reason I won both my first 2 games, and I have a playing rating of 1776, which just shocks me. I did not expect that. But the reason is because I used files. You can go to my profile. Apparently, you can go to the profile of all of your friends. When you start following people, they become your friends on Lichess. You can go to their profile and you can review their games. Go to my profile and review my 2 rapid games if you think I'm joking and kidding. I won because I used files. I used the rooks on the files. Well, actually, I use all 3 pillars every game, no question. Always control the center, the files, and then acquire targets. But it was the rooks on open files that got those games beat for me. And I did not play really good chess in either one of those games either. I'm not saying, yeah, come and look at me, I'm playing so great. No, I really didn't. It's the 3 pillars, though, that saved my bacon. Truly. Especially that second one. Well, that second game was a nightmare. I pulled it out, though. I did win, but ugh. I really did not play very well in that game. Not nearly as good as these 2 young 12-year-old squirt wonderful chess players. So anyway, so rook g1. And now queen to e8. Yeah. This move kind of gave up the advantage, whatever advantage black had. Muller says, I didn't say this, Muller says king f7 was the last chance to play for advantage here. Instead, black opted to go to queen e8. So here we are, and look at this. Now, we're talking about 12-year-old Bobby Fischer, our hero. Just take a look at that for a second. What a phenomenal tactic, huh? And you go, well, he can't take it with the pawn. There's no way he's going to be able to take it with the pawn. It centralizes so powerfully that knight. You can just see the power of Bobby Fischer's game radiating from the center with that move, can't you? That's why he made it. If he takes, then the queen takes, and what a beautiful tactic. He can take either bishop, whichever bishop he wants to choose. That's, now Bobby has the advantage. Definitely now Bobby has the advantage. So this is kind of cool to see that even at 12-year-olds, if 12-year-olds can learn how to do groovy tactics like that, then so can we. It's just a matter of practice. Yeah. Got to practice a lot of chess. A great move. A great move. Queen comes to, whoops, f7. Straighten up a little lady. And let me make sure I did this right. Yes, and then knight comes to f4, and now the center has opened up. Granted, the queen's there right now at the moment on the file. The queen is not the best one to take a file because the rook can chase her off. You'll want them with rooks. But it is important to notice that because of the exchange of pawns or the taking of pawns, that is what helps us create the open files, which is what you want in most cases. There's always exceptions in chess, right? I actually have seen Grandmaster games where neither one of them ever end up with open files. You know, it's not a must, but it's a doggone good weapon to get used to making, right? And using. So, anyway, just letting you see that now there is a file. For whatever use it's going to be, we don't know. We'll see soon. Like, well, here we go. He took the other file, pinning the bishop to the king. Yeah? See, the second there's open files, that should be like a magnet to steel to us every time. The minute, the moment you see an open file, put your rook there, baby. Yeah. So here we go, and queen comes to b3, target. Again, target, developing a piece, hitting a target. Now, look, though, you go, oh, hey, wait a minute, that's a queen target, pinning the queen to the king. Ooh, is Bobby going to exchange the queens? Sometimes, again, we have to, I practice in my videos as often as I remember to learn how to read the chessboard, to translate the position, so to speak, to be able to understand which imbalances we are dealing with from Jeremy Silman's teachings that I happen to really like because I believe it's helped me in my chess, and from Artur Yusupov's chess course, which I paid a lot of money for, so I'm trying to learn with. When the center opens up and you have options of open files, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So material is even with the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. So the king is fairly covered. Neither king is really exposed or in danger. So black is down just a pawn, but it is a pawn. Just so we know, right? Material is even as far as that goes. So, because files have begun to open up, you got the majority and the majority. So 3 and 3, the pawns are screwed up on this side, but there's 3 of them and 2 here. So the idea of exchanging queens, you can kind of understand, well, yeah. And this is something I'm going to just tell you. It's not a pillar, and it's not, sometimes it can be a strategy. So often, because when we begin playing chess, of course, to a beginner, material is the only consideration. And rightly so, because the more pieces we keep on the chessboard in the chess game, the better chance we have of winning, right? So we really get nervous about our material. We can't stand to play without our queens. No! I have to have my queen. She is the most powerful piece. Get used to, if you can, get used to playing without your queen, however. In order to do that, we have to learn how to play our minor pieces, the knights and the bishops, through time as we explore Bobby Fischer tournament games and utilize Jeremy Silman's imbalances, because the minor pieces is one of the major imbalances. We will grasp how to do that. Bobby at age 12 is already mature enough in his chess knowledge that he can be comfortable playing without his queen. He'll exchange the queens. From my point of view, if you exchange the queens, then you absolutely put your rooks on the open files, because that will be the next most powerful thing you can do in your game. You retain your control of the center if possible, even if it only ends up being just one pawn, but you must put your rook on the open file. If you're going to exchange the queens, that is where your power play will be. And that's just me talking, not Mueller on this game. But Bobby thinks he wants to exchange the queens. Very interesting. Bishop comes back to, oh, no. Wrong bishop, dork. C7, this one. Yeah, bishop C7. There you go. And Bobby exchanges the queen. Now here, it's interesting that Mueller puts a question mark. Actually, he put a question mark and a, well, no, he put a question mark here. I mean, it works. It works. But the better option would have been to go ahead and start attacking the king right now. Look, you got the rook on the file. You have access to the h5. You can push a pawn. You've got the bishop here. You've got the bishop to crack it open. Had Bobby done that, he would have had better pressure on the g file, is how Mueller put it. That would have been the weakness to target. You notice how that would have doubled up the target, actually tripled the targets. The rook hitting this pawn, putting the knight here hitting that pawn, and the bishop being a sacrifice piece because the pawn is pinned. That would have been a sweet attack. Yeah. So Bobby, as a 12-year-old, overlooked it. Instead, he exchanged the queens. And, I mean, it worked. But it was better to begin. The coordination of pieces is such that it could have been a really sweet kingside attack. Basically, is what Mueller is hinting at, right? But it's not going to be now. And that's okay. Let's see what develops. Well, Fischer now does knight h5. He did it in the wrong sequence, and I'm telling you, I can empathize with Fischer here because I still have to learn how to coordinate in my mind which piece to move first in an attack. That's the idea of studying tactics. Yeah. The cool thing about Lichess is they have hundreds of thousands of tactics you can practice every day. My recommendation is that you do so. Come on in and join our club, Backyard Professor Fan Club. I know, I told Joni, J-O-E-N-E. I say Joni, that's a woman's name here in America, and so I'm not trying to offend you, bro, but he has put together this fan club, and we are having a ball. We're all learning together. It's really cool how that works. So anyway, now he puts the knight out there, and of course now the G6 is effective. And, however, don't count Fischer out yet. There's something afoot. Well, and now black takes the h3. So, see, because he did it in the wrong move sequence, black can almost turn the tables and begin an attack. You'll notice Fischer never did get castled here. Not that it mattered a whole lot, because black technically has never really gotten anything going. However, he is starting to chip away at it. We'll see what happens. And now he castles queenside. Because black has made his breakthrough. Now he castles queenside, and the advantage there, of course, is putting the rook on that beautiful D file. Hey, black has the E file partially blocked, and white has the D file. So one of our pillars. Really, really cool to see that. And then the question mark, rook d8. Well, see, I've always contended, and this is something, you have to learn the subtleties and the nuances of each position before you just blindly say, oh, hey, he's got an open file. Don't leave it there. Attack his open file. Don't just give your opponent an open file, is how I've always said it in some of my previous videos. Well, in this instance, and again, yeah, it comes through practice, it wasn't best to challenge the file. And let's see why. Because rook takes d8, and now interestingly, he does not retake it with the rook, he retakes it with the bishop. And I worked through some variations where he takes it with the rook, nothing comes of it. So that's not that big a deal. The thing I noticed in playing this game is, well, he gives up the open file. For the moment, yeah. But even if he had taken it, it really wouldn't have come to anything. At least in the variation I had. Rook comes to h1, hitting the bishop. And bishop comes to g2. Very interesting hit on the rook and the f3 pawn. Kind of a subtle, cool move for black. And rook takes the h6. And rook takes the h6. And bishop takes the rook on h6. And bishop then takes f3. And bishop comes back to e3. And at this point, they agreed to a draw. And I've tinkered around. I'm not going to worry about showing you these. I tinkered around with some variations to really see if the draw was justified. The draw is justified. Look, no matter how bad you want to win. Of course, then, see, I suspect it's these earlier tournament games that Fischer was playing where he had so many draws. He really did draw quite a bit in his early career. I think that affected him psychologically to the point to where he desired to win instead of draw. And so what it did is it propelled him into making his chess middle game stronger, so he didn't end up in the end game in a draw-ish position. That's just my supposition. I suspect playing through his chess games will demonstrate that. I'm just saying. Fischer wanted to win. That's a beautiful attitude for us to acquire. You have even material. Now, granted, black has the bishop pair. You've got the bishop and knight. The 4 pawns, and the 3 pawns and the 3 pawns, the majority is even on the side, and then you have a pawn and a pawn. Yeah, that's drawish. Because of the way he played his middle game, he ended up in a draw position. I suspect that's why Fischer got very strong with his bishops. He is legendary for the strength of his bishops. I am so anxious and excited. I'm looking forward to finding those tournament games where he really does demonstrate bishop power. He really did demonstrate knight power as well, but his bishops is what he was known for. And so my suspicion is he studied even harder for the middle game so that he never ended up in drawish positions like this. Fun game, very interesting to see. That's the second tournament game. Remember, we're in 1955. He's 12 years old. So 5 more chess games to go through in 1955, and there are a couple of really beautiful, stunning surprises awaiting us. So, be good, do well, have fun, chessercise like crazy, keep studying, come and join us on Lichess. We are having fun, I'm just saying. I personally am finding online chess and online association with chess players to be more fun than I was imagining. So see, I prejudged, and I prejudged wrongly. So come on out, the club is fine. Remember, here's to chess and all of you fantastic people watching these videos. Men and women alike, you rock. You make my day. I will see you guys in the next chess video.